Hello there, we're doing 1-5 distributive property. We are on page 44 in your notable. And here we go, we're going to get started with the distributive property. And we're going to use the distributive property to simplify expressions. And remember, the word expressions just means equation with no equal sign. So let's fill in our blanks over here, build our vocabulary. The distributive property states that multiplying the sum, and remember the sum implies addition, the sum of two numbers by a third number is the same as multiplying each of those numbers by the other number. And it's just basically saying it doesn't matter if you add two numbers together, then multiply them by the third number, or if you multiply each of the two numbers by the other number individually, you're going to get the same answer. And it might make more sense after we do a couple. So our first example, distributive property, says complete each equation. It says 4 times the quantity 3 plus 9. And now when I say the word quantity, I'm talking about what's inside our grouping symbols called parentheses. It's the same thing as saying 4 times 3 plus 4 times what number? Well, I like to think of it as a little bit of a rainbow effect. So when we distribute the 4, we're going to multiply it by each of the numbers on the inside of those parentheses. So our first thing is 4 times 3, and then we're going to add that to what? We're going to add that to whatever 4 times 9 is. So in this blank goes 9. So look at it this way. This here, 4 times the quantity, and remember quantity is just what's inside the parentheses, 3 plus 9 is the same thing as equal to 4 times 3 plus 4 times 9. And this is what we call distributing that 4. It's the same thing. So to clarify again, this is equal to all of this. Okay, let's move on. So our second example says 4 times the quantity 1 plus 7 is equal to what? Well, like I said, we're distributing the 5. Think of distributing like, oh, you're passing it out. You're distributing papers in class. You're distributing that 5. You're giving 1 to everyone. So you do 5 times 1 plus 5 times 7. Alright, so your turn. Go ahead and pause me here and complete A and B. See if you get the answers right. Okay, so as you can see, I put the answers up for the your turn. If you did not get 2 right here, 5, 7, 5, 3, please go back and watch 1 and 2 to make sure you know what's going on. Alright, so let's go down to these ones. Complete each equation. 6 times 2 plus 6 times 4 is equal to 6 times 2 plus 4. And this is the quantity 6 times the quantity 2 plus 4. So now we're working backwards. Now we're thinking of it as backwards distributive property. So here we go. If we multiply 6 times 2 and we multiply 6 times 4, we bring the 6 to the outside, and on the inside we just have what's left. So we're bringing the 6 out, we're bringing this 6 out. On the inside, what do we have left? We have a 2 and we have a 4. They already put the 2 in there for us, so we just add that 4. So here we have 7 times 9 plus 7 times 3 is equal to 7 times the quantity of what? What plus what? So 7 times 9 plus 7 times 3. Well, again, like I said, we're kind of like factoring out this 7. If you don't know what that means, and that's okay, but we're taking out this 7, we're bringing it to the front. What do we have left? We have the 9 and the 3, and that goes in our blanks. So go ahead and try the your turn now, A and B, and check back to see if you got the answers right. Okay, so as you can see here, we put a 2 in this blank, a 13 in this blank, and a 6 in this blank. That's what you should have gotten. Alright, we are on to our next page. page 45 in your notable. Examples. Retail. Gina bought food for her dog. She bought 5 cans of dog food for 50 cents each and 5 packages of dog snacks for 150 each. Use the distributive property to write 2 equations represent the total amount of money T Gina spent on her dog. Okay, so notice with this one that the T is representing total and that she bought 5 of each item. She bought 5 cans and she bought 5 packages of dog snacks. So we know we can use distributive property because we have a common number of 5. We put our 5 on the outside. It says T equals, remember that's total equals, 5 times our first item, the 50-cent cans of dog food, plus our second item, which was the $1.50 bag of dog treats, so $1.50. Now remember, to use the distributive property, we distribute that 5 to both of the numbers on the inside. We're multiplying the number on the outside to everything on the inside. So our new equation, or equation 2, would be T equals, remember that's total money, 5 times 0.50 plus 5 times 1.50, and that's the 50 cents from the dog food cans and the $1.50 from the packages of dog snacks. Now the second thing we want to do is determine the total amount that Gina spent on her dog. So the first equation, let's use the first equation up here. First equation, T equals 5 in parentheses 0.5 plus $1.50. Now, order of operations tells us we need to do the grouping symbols first. So we say, okay, what's 0.5 or 0.50 plus 1.50? Well, that's going to give us $2. Oops. It's $2. And what do we add? We add 0.5 and $1.50. And 5 times $2 is going to give us $10. So in this scenario, equation 1, the total is $10. How do we get that? We multiply 5 and 2. Okay, so now let's try with equation number 2. And if everything works out correctly, we should get the same answer. So let's first write in our equation. So we have 5 times 0.50 plus 5 times 150. Where did I get those numbers? From right here, equation number 2. We're putting it in down here. So first we write the equation. Then what do we need to do? Well, let's do the most left grouping symbol. Remember, we work from left to right in order of operations. So we first do this grouping symbol, then this grouping symbol, and then we add them together at the very end. So 5 times 0.5, we're going to get 250. How do we get that? We multiply 5 and 0.5. 5 times 1.50, we're going to get 750. And so we have 250 plus 750, and if you add those together, you do in fact get that $10. How do we get that? We add 250 and 750. And using either method, Gina spent $10 on her dog. So you know that the distributive property really does work. It doesn't matter which way you write it. If you add them first, then multiply them by 5, or if you multiply each term by 5, you'll get the same answer. Alright, so now I want you guys to try A and B on the your turn and check back to see if you get the correct answer. Okay, and as you can see here, our first equation, we have 7 times the quantity 0.3 plus 1.25. Our second equation, we split it up and did 7 times 0.3 plus 7 times 1.25. Down here, we worked out each of the problems and we got that Marcus spent a total of $10.85. And either way you work it out, he spent the same total. So your assignment for tonight is going to be a worksheet, or excuse me, for tomorrow is going to be a worksheet. And and you will get that tomorrow. See you then.